Welcome back to the channel on the 26th of January 2017, and before we start the episode I'd just like to say a massive thank you to all the subscribers that we've got coming on board. At the time of doing this video we have 59 subscribers, so once again thanks very much. Now what we're looking at today is how much should we win on a particular day, and is that difficult to do, and more importantly how are we going to do it. So if we're looking at level 1 bank, remember we're starting off with £40 and we're splitting that up into the first bet of £4, which is 10% of the bank, and then the other ones are 5% of the bank, which gives us our normal stake of £2. Now the target for the week, if you're just starting out and you're learning the game and you've got a bank of 40, is £10. So that means that we need to win £2 5 days a week. And if we obviously win more on a particular day, then we can increase that stake. So let's just say we're going to win £2 on the day, and we're going to be working 5 days a week. Now how difficult is that to do, and what do we need to do it? So let's switch our focus to the actual trading on the day. Now this is a race that I've put up, done a little bit of trading, not much, just to get a feel for the race, and we've got a potential profit here of £7.11. Now obviously that's not going to be enough to edge out before the race to get our stake, so we clearly need to do a little bit more trading on this race, and we're hoping that the price is going to go up to 44, 46, 48, something like that, and then we can do a few more trades, and then we might be able to hedge out closer to the full amount. Now if we get up to a hedging out profit of around £2, we might be able to just do that and then look for another race later on in the day to make up the extra money. So we're playing for a stake of £3.75. That's the normal stake. The first stake would be going in at £7.50, but the normal stake is £3.75, and that's the profit what we're going to try and win on the day. Now this is still in level 1, don't forget, the beginner's tutorial, where we don't have much experience, but if you do follow the tutorials then you should know that I do like the price to go out to a price that I actually want or think the horse can be traded at. So presently it's at 32, and I don't think that's the price that we want to trade. If you look at the screen over here, the trading price that we initially went for was 42. So that would be the price, 42, 44, 46, 48, something like that. That would be the trading range for this particular horse. Now we are about an hour away from the race, so we do have plenty of time for that to happen. And if that doesn't happen and we've got this small potential profit here, then we can trade in running. And if we put the trade in at 3, we can maybe win £2 or just under. So that would be more or less half of our target for the day. So even though you've got a small, which we set up before, the small profit here, potential profit, you can still try and win half your stake by trading in running. So the first part we need to do obviously is try and get the money before the race starts, the hedging of the market. And if we can get half our target profit for the day, then we will hedge the market and move on to a second race. Now you notice I'm not playing 2 races at once. That's because we're only on level 1. When we get to level 2 we will be looking at playing 2 races at the same time. But we're going to keep it very, very simple for now. So that's the plan of action with Wanin. We're going to trade a little bit higher if it goes up, and if it doesn't go much higher then we'll try and trade it in running at maybe 3.5 to win roughly half of our target stakes, and then we'll look for something else on the day, and hopefully by the end of the day we'll get the profit of at least £3.75. Now obviously looking at this, and you can say, well, we've backed the horse at 42, and normally we would lay that off round about 32, 34, and that would give us a decent profit on the race. But we wanted to set that up just to show you the first instance of being able to trade on the race in running to try and win the amount. Now we're not guaranteed obviously to win in running, but we just wanted to set this up for this first example, and we'll set up another race probably today where we actually can win before the race starts. Now the second question we want to answer as well is, what price should we put in running to win on this particular horse? Now at the moment we've got a potential profit of 7.11, so if we want to win the full amount, obviously we're going to have to trade at close to even money. Now if we want to win half the amount, we're going to be trading in running at 3.5. If we get more trades on the race and the price goes up, then we will put it in the price to win the full amount stake target. So for example, if Wanine, we went up to 42, 44, 46 and we got a price potential profit of say 37, well let's make it simple, £37.50, then obviously we would be trading in running at 10 to try and win the £3.75. So the more you've got potential profit, if you're only sticking to, which you should do, winning a certain amount, then the more potential profit you can build up, the higher in running price you can put in during the race. And obviously if you've done enough in terms of trading before the race and you can hedge out of the market with the profit that you want, that would be advisable to do before the race starts. So at the moment we're looking to win half that amount, which would be putting in round about, like we said before, about 3.5. And that would be an in-running price. We're now about 20 minutes away from the race and you see the price has come right down. So if you were following the rules of our tutorials and not just having a setup like this one just to show the example, you probably would now be able to cash out and win your profit for the day on just this one horse. But we have set it up so that we're showing the in-running price, and then we're going to show another video later on. So it looks like we're going to be left with just this small profit of £7.11 going into, or potential profit going into the race, and we'll have to put that in running at a very low figure of round about 3.5. There is still time, obviously, with 20 minutes left, and we can in the past still see the price rising up to 40, 44, 46, something like that. So even though we are getting closer to the race, it doesn't mean to say that the price won't go to what we want. Obviously if that price comes within the last 5 minutes, then we're going to leave it alone and we're just going to take the chance in the race. Now the chances are we're not going to win on this race, so we're going to have to look at another race to win the profit for the day. So we'll just have to see if it gets to our in-running price or not. If it doesn't, we've lost nothing, we move on. We're 8 minutes away from post time and the price on Wanine has actually come in a little bit further, so it's not going to be another tradable proposition for us, so we're going to have to lay it in running at that very low price that we suggested early on. So let's just click down to the price in question. And we're going to try and win half our target stake on the race. Now that doesn't seem much, but in the context of our bank and the fact that we are a beginner tutorial, it's sufficient for our needs. So let's put it 3, we can win £1.90. At £3.05 we can win £3.21, so it's going to be a little bit higher than that to win half the bank. Let's try £3.50, still a little bit higher. And we're going to come in at 3.75 is about the right price for us to win half of our target for today. So let's put that in at 3.75 and obviously right click and in play keep, and that will keep the bet in running for us. So we're hoping for the horse to come down to 3.75 to win half our day's target profit. If it doesn't do that, we'll move on to another race and see if we can win our money that way, and then if on the next race we can't win it, we'll move on to a further race. So it's not all on one race, you can actually have a few goes at winning your target profit. So we're now actually at post time and we're just waiting for the race to start. The favourites for the race, Berlioz, and also a good all-weather performer, Crossfire, and also Englishwoman, who also has winning form at Southwell over this 5 furlongs. So as usual, we're going to watch the green light come across and we're going to be looking at the halfway of the race is here. or more or less here, and then the final furlong or so is going to be just when it gets to Crossfire. So we're hoping to get down to 3.75, and that will give us half our target profit for the day. So we're hopeful more than confident at this stage. And you can see the price on Wanini has gone up quite sharply now from when we last looked at when it was trading around about 19, and that's lay money for this horse. So 26-27 is round about the market's going to be at the off on the exchanges. So like I say, we're just waiting for the race to start now, and we will get that little call when the race starts. Berlioz attracting quite a lot of money at 3.60. Crossfire fairly steady on the day at 5.5. And Englishwoman traded at 15 at one point and came into 7.6, 7.8. So there has been a bit of money for that one. Piazzon more or less steady apart from the early trading, which was probably a little bit short in price, and that was probably when the market was well above the 100% mark, probably 115, 120%. So those that went in early really needed to wait for the market to form properly. King Crimson has, on the face of it, very little chance, has traded as high as 400. Rockin' Rudolph, who's not got much form to go on, only had one run in the last year or so, that's also drifted out quite badly from 12 to 36, but there's nothing really sucker to suggest that will run any sort of race. So we're off, and we'll just watch the price on Wanine. We're hoping for 3.75. Been down to 17 in running so far. Down to 12. So if we had traded it, it had gone to the price that we wanted, we may well have been out with our profit by now. But anyway, it's 34.65 going right out now, so it looks like it's going to be beaten. Going out 150 and going right out now to 1,000. So on that particular race, because we put the marking quite low, we didn't have much chance of winning on that particular race. So that's one race done. That's not going to be providing us with the profit on the day, but we are at least winning with a chance to win on the race. So not to worry, don't just quit and leave it for that. Let's move on to the next race, see if we can do a little bit better on the next race. So we'll click that out, and we'll put in the next race, which is going to be Southwell 355. And if you don't know why we're putting in these races, then go back to some of the episodes earlier on where we actually show you what type of race we look at for our trading program. Now the horse in here that we're looking at may well be AlphaTauri. Now AlphaTauri is a bit of a rascal. That's the best I can describe it. It can run some very poor races, and it also can absolutely run away with races, especially on the all-weather here at Southwell. So this might well be a decent tradable option. It's already at 60. It has traded for bits and pieces at 95, but that is only pennies really. So we're looking to be trading on AlphaTauri, build up a stake and see if we can hedge the market beforehand, or like we've done in the previous race, put it in running but at a much higher price than the last one, which was around about 3.7. So that's going to be our next race at Southwell, the 355. So we're now about 35 minutes away from the actual race time, and AlphaTauri, you can see, is now trading at 48.50, and we've put one single bet in at 60 and we laid that off at 48. I can see we've already got a potential profit in the race of 43 just from that one single trade, and we can also hedge out for a small amount. But don't forget, we're only trying to win our stake profit on the day, which is £3.75 for this level 1 tutorial. Now we've got a few options as it stands, obviously we can hedge the market, we can try and put it in running at various odds. So the lowest odds we would want to put it in at, if we're doing in running, would be round about 2 point something. So if we want to win our total bank on the day, we can try and win £20 with just this one bet. And if we put it in, you can see at round about 2.2, 2.4, 2.6, something like that, then if it went down to that mark, then we would win our total bank's intended profit in one race. Now that is quite low, and the chances of AlphaTauri getting down to that price are quite minimal. So we've got another option. We can try and win half our weekly bank, and to do that we'll need to put it in to win £10. So again, what we can do, we can put in a different stake, we can put in £10, and this time we can put it in a little bit higher up. So we can put it in there, 4.4, 4.5, and we can win more or less half our intended bank for the week, and that gives us a little bit more scope, 4.5. Or we can try and win our intended daily target, which is £3.75, and we've got a few more possibilities with that. We can put that in a little bit higher up again, and we can put that in at higher than 9, going up round about 11.5, 12. So if we wanted to win our daily profit in one race, again, even just we made one bet, we can put that in at 12 in running to win the profit on the day. And we've also got another option, which is to win 50% of the profit on one day, and to do that we'll need to put just the £2 in. So this will give us, again, profit on the day of 50% of our target profit, and we can put that in at 22, which is more reasonable for the horse to get down to 22. Or we can just let the bet ride at 43 and hope to double our weekly intended profit in one race at 43. So what's the best thing to do? Let's have a look at the current price. Now we do have a little bit more time before the race starts, so we can trade a little bit more if it goes up to what we want the price to do within our time frame. So that will give us a few more options, but as it stands, those are the options that we've got. And don't forget, we've got another race tonight, 7 o'clock at Wolverhampton. So even if we make a little profit on this race, it will reduce our leveling up to the profit that we want on the next race. So let's just see where the market decides to go, what we can do on this race, what options we're going to take a little bit later on. You can see now that the price has actually gone higher than our original trade of 60. It's gone up to 65, but we do have £16 here and 6 here and 11 here. So we need to ask ourselves, is the price going to push up a little bit further, or is it going to come down? And it's a good question to ask at this stage, because we are only 25 minutes from the race and we can see quite a lot of fluctuation in the price. Now if this 14 gets taken, it may well shoot up to 85, because there's very little substance behind that 14. So as you get closer to race time, you want to re-evaluate your position with regards to price that you want to take. So we moved the video on a couple of minutes and we're still round about the same position where the price is 65 and there's still a backup of money here. So if I took the 65 now, I would have to lay it off at 55 to get a completed trade, and that looks a little bit way off in terms of the money on this side as opposed to the money on this side. So I'm just going to wait and see if we can get a bit higher price on this side. Obviously if it doesn't go up and then we miss the trade, that's fine. You know, you're going to make decisions like that where you make the wrong decision, but it looks more likely that the price is going to go up. So the price now beginning to move up, so I'm going to put the first trade in at 75 and hopefully it will get there and then we can trade off a little bit lower down. So that's the plan of action for these last 15 minutes. Just trading the first one at 75, but we do need to be very careful at this point because the price can just go up very, very quickly, as we've seen before in previous videos. We might just want to go one tick below, back it at 75, lay it off at 70, but there's a chunk of money now coming in at 60, and you can see that can happen as well. But we would have needed to trade at 55 if we'd have taken the 65, so we're not there just yet, and this price could get taken again. So it is interesting to just see what the market decides it wants to do. Remember, we don't have to play on the race. We've already made the trade, and we're hoping to make another few trades, but we don't have to play if things aren't in our favour. So I'll move the video on again in another couple of minutes, and we can see that the price for AlphaTauri is reacting back towards our mark of 75.80, and if you look at the graph on the right hand side, you can see there was a sudden surge of money taking the price down from 70 to 38, and again that's doing it at that time. So you can see a large chunk of money came in at 55.60 and is forcing the price back down to 48. Now last time this money here just disappeared in the market after it came in, and the price gradually built back up again. So let's see if that money is going to stay there, or whether it's just going to be taken out and the price is going to go back up, and then they're going to come back in with taking the money that's available at that price of 60. Like I say, AlphaTauri is quite a rascal. It can run some very good races and also can get tailed off in races, so the price of 70.75 is probably justified in this particular case, and it's also drawn in 12. So if it does get behind and it doesn't want to race, then the kickback
I'm out of here, man.
might just put it off for today's race. And you can see the price just being edged away again at 50. We've got a build up of 39, 40, and still this money coming in at 50. But we are now in the last 5 minutes, so I'm going to take this out of the market, and we're going to have the same decisions as we wanted to make before, where are we going to lay it in running, are we going to hedge out of the market, or what price in running are we going to take. So these are decisions that we'll need to make. You're going to get it wrong sometimes, you're going to get it right sometimes, but the main thing is just make a decision and go with that. If it's a wrong decision at the time, accept it and move on. And you can see the price is round about 46 now, and the hedging price is getting up towards the pound. Now that doesn't seem a lot, but in the context of being a tutorial and making a profit on the day of £3.75, that's not a bad start to the day's trading. We do have other races. In fact, we do have one race tonight at 7 o'clock at Wolverhampton. Now the all weather, you're going to get race days where you're only going to be trading 2 or 3 races, and you might struggle to make the profits that you wanted. During the summer you can get up to round about 20 of the races that we actually look at to trade on. So there is a big discrepancy between all weather racing in the winter, where you've got a few races, and races a little bit later on when the turf season starts, and you've got 4 or 5 meetings a day with some pretty good handicaps in there. So just bear in mind that you are looking for races in the winter at the all weather, and it's going to be a struggle to find the right races. So any profit that you can take is going to be worthwhile in the long run, and then when we get to the turf season properly, then we'll have more options to actually make the profits a little bit easier. So we're about 3 minutes off the race, and AlphaTauri is still round about 46, 48, now the price in running that we looked at before to win 3.75 on the day, or close to that, was about 12. Now half of that we looked at, and we put the right price in, and that would be round about 22. Now 22 is a reasonable in-running price to win that amount, but we can hedge the market at 93 up to £1. So if we get up to £1, we might as well hedge the market and then try and win the remainder on the race tonight at Wolverhampton. So let's just go back up, see where we are. $46. Going back out. Just 2 minutes to post time. Going back out again, up to 50. And it's going back out again. So even if we do hedge now, we're not going to win that much. So I'm going to put it in at 22 and see what we can do with that. And if it gets to that price, then we'll win half our intended profit for the day. So let's put that in at 22. Right click, in play keep. We've made the decision. That's what we're going to stick to. And let's just check the price of the graph. So we've seen quite a few fluctuations. Remember, we've only made one single trade on this, so we're nowhere near making all those stakes that we have in our bank and target spreadsheet. And sometimes you don't need to make that many trades just to get a handle in the race.
A female deer.
So if we don't win on this, we've got another race tonight, like we say, at Wolverhampton, the 7 o'clock, and we'll try and do something with that. And it's actually going back down to 42 now. Maybe a little bit late to hedge out. Going back out to 50. 55, 60. We are actually on post time now, so we're just waiting for the race to start. So let's have a look at the favourites. Zoravan is the 2.68 favourite. Then we've got Anton Chigurh, if that's how you pronounce it. And also we've got Macho Mac there at 14 and SNH at 9.2. Plenty of big outsiders, but showing off, gone right out. In fact, you could have traded that one at 900 and that came back into 320. And also if we look at
Sucker.
was trading at a big price as well. So we are off now. We're looking for AlphaTauri to get down to 22. It is a 1 mile race, so it's going to take quite a while. Come down to 30, come down to 24, 27. So we're very, very close to what we wanted. We've had part of it taken at 22.
Fully matched.
And it has been now fully taken. So you can see we've made the trade. It's trading a little bit lower. So let's see how far down it gets. Going back out to 48, 15, fluctuating rapidly. 12, gone down to 5.1, 4.1, 3, down to 2. It's now odds on to win the race. And AlphaTauri, the rascal that he is, has actually won the race again. So, as in another episode, we actually picked the winner and it was a big prize. So, again, it is a little bit frustrating. we went in with the stake that we wanted. AlphaTauri won the race, but that's trading. That's trading for you. You got to accept these days where you're going to be picking the winner. We knew it had potential, but it was a big price, and that's that. We've won on the race. Let's not get away from that. We've only won a little bit amount, but we move on to the next race. So this is the 7 o'clock at Wolverhampton, the 2 mile handicap, and we have made one trade on Cotton Club at 29.8, and we've laid it off at 21.56. So we've got a potential profit in the market of 45.21. Taking notice of these two, they were just the alert prices that we put in just to see if we could make some trades on these. So we steaming, we looked at an initial starting point of 34, but we weren't convinced about the horse's form, so we left it. An excellent puck at 25. We wanted that to go out a little bit further as well. So these were just alert points to let us know that they've reached a price that we're going to be looking at them, and they've since come in, so not to worry there. The one we've traded on obviously is Cotton Club, and we're going to leave this profit in before the race. So we're not going to be playing in running, we're not going to be hedging out of the market, we're going to leave it in and see if Cotton Club can win the race. Now I am going out tonight, so I'm not going to be around for the result of the 7 o'clock, but I will put up what happens in the race in the video just before the end, so you'll be able to keep up to date with the progress of the bank. So if you've enjoyed this series, then we're moving on to level 2 next week. We're going to be looking at 2 races simultaneously, playing on those, stepping up the stakes slightly. If you just joined us, then do go back and look at all the level 1 videos. Make sure you're with us for level 2, and look at the banks, stakes and targets video as well, which we've got on our channel, and then you can see which one where you want to start, what stakes you want to put into. So once again, thanks very much for watching, thanks for all the subscriptions, and I'll see you for the next video. So just to let you know what happened in the Wolverhampton 7 o'clock, this time our decision to leave the money in the market proved correct, as Cotton Club won the race. The horse traded at over 150 in running before coming in dramatically in the closing stages to the minimum 1.01. Our profit on the day rose to over £48, which was more than double the level 1 weekly target, and we made that in just one day, or more to the point, in one race. We are coming to the end of the level 1 tutorials now, with the possibility of one more, possibly over the weekend. And if you're already subscribed to the channel, thank you very much for your support. If you would like to subscribe to the channel, it is free, then please do so. Maybe go back and have a look at the level 1 tutorials and join us for the next level of exchange trading. So thanks very much for the people that have subscribed to the channel. If you want to subscribe, if you're not linked with the channel yet, do push the button and leave a like. If you're not understanding anything and you want to leave a comment, do that by all means. And I appreciate your time. Thanks very much for watching this episode from The Exchange Trader.